The bill is passed. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
And there it is. Congress giving final approval to the Keystone XL pipeline. The bill passing the House by a vote of 270 to 152 with bipartisan support. 29 Democrats voting for it. But it may turn out to be an exercise in futility. Why? Because the bill now heads to President Obama's desk. He is promising a veto. Byron York joins us, chief political correspondent for the Washington Examiner and a Fox News contributor. Well, I'm tempted to say, what's the point? But since the president loves to accuse Congress of failing to act, at least now they can say, well, we didn't.
Well, they did act. Obviously, they passed at 270 votes. That's not nothing. It did include 29 Democrats. Remember, it passed with 62 votes, filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. I think the most important number to remember about all this is in the most recent Fox News poll just last month, 65% of Americans say they want the president to sign the pipeline bill versus 22% who want him to veto it. So if he does veto it, as he says he will, he'll be acting on behalf of a pretty small minority of Americans.
Well, look, he kind of claims, yeah, we need to study it more. My goodness, it's been studied for 6 years. There have been 5 different environmental impact studies. The latest one by the State Department was 11 volumes. I actually spent time digging through it. And here's what I found. They all say the same thing. The pipeline will not significantly increase carbon pollution. In fact, to the contrary, it will help reduce it. Let's put it up on the screen. I plucked a quote, page 34 of the executive summary. Because transporting oil by truck and rail produces emissions that are 28 to 42% greater than for the proposed pipeline. So, Byron, if it's true, and all 5 studies say it's true, isn't failing to build the pipeline actually hurting the environment?
It would be, but you've got to remember a couple of very important Democratic constituencies want the president to veto it, the big one being the environmental lobby, which includes a lot of mega donors. You're right, the studies have shown that the oil that is in Canada now is going to be brought out of the ground whether or not this pipeline is built. The only question is, does it come to the United States and have a positive economic impact here? So I think that argument is pretty much over. I think what you're going to see now is, if the president does veto it, it's not like Republicans are just going to go away. I think it will take a while, but they'll pass it again, and perhaps they'll attach it to something like an energy bill. Will the president veto the whole thing just to stop the pipeline? If that doesn't work, they might attach it to something that's must pass, like an appropriations bill.
Sure.
The president may have to veto the Keystone pipeline multiple times in the next year or so.
All right. Byron York, we'll see what happens. Byron, good to see you as always.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks.